You never truly know the value of something until it's gone. And some men, oh, they learn that lesson the hard way. They take your kindness for granted. They assume you'll always be there, waiting in the shadows of their indecision. But let me tell you something. When a strong woman walks away, she leaves behind an emptiness no one else can fill. You never truly understand the value of something until it's gone. And for some men, that realization doesn't hit immediately. It comes late, too late. When you were there, he thought he had all the time in the world. He thought he could take his time, come and go as he pleased, push your love aside like it would always be there. But here's what he never saw coming. The moment you decide you're done, the moment you choose yourself over him, that's the moment he starts to feel the weight of his own actions. At first, he won't notice. He'll assume you'll call. He'll assume you'll check in, that you'll break first, that you'll come running back like before. He'll scroll through his phone, expecting a message that never comes. Days will pass, then weeks. That's when reality starts to sink in. The texts are silent, the calls don't come, and suddenly he feels it, the emptiness, the quiet, the space where you used to be. Men don't always recognize what they have when they have it, but they feel the loss when it's gone. It's not the absence of a person that hurts. It's the absence of love, of comfort, of familiarity. It's coming home and realizing no one is waiting. It's telling a joke and noticing there's no one there to laugh. It's reaching for the warmth of something that no longer exists. And by the time he understands, by the time he realizes he lost a woman who loved him purely, the door is already closed. A man will only respect the woman who respects herself enough to walk away. You see, men are wired to chase. They don't value what is handed to them on a silver platter. They value what they have to work for, what they fear losing. And when you stop making it easy, when you remove yourself from the equation, that's when he starts questioning everything. That's when he starts looking back, retracing every moment, every mistake, every word he should have never said. You ever notice how people take the sun for granted until it sets? You ever watch someone lose something precious and not realize how much they needed it until it was out of reach? That's the pain he will feel when he looks around and sees that the one woman who truly cared, the one woman who stood by his side, is no longer available to him. And it's not just the loss of you that will hurt. It's the loss of the life he could have had with you. He will see you glowing. He will see you moving forward, living, breathing, thriving without him. And that will burn deeper than any words ever could. He'll try to replace you. He'll try to fill the void. But let me tell you something. No one else will feel like home the way you did. No one else will laugh at his jokes the way you did. No one else will understand his silence the way you did. He'll search for you in every woman he meets, and every time he will come up empty. But here's the secret. You don't need to make him suffer. The absence of a good woman is pain enough. The regret of knowing he had something rare and let it slip through his fingers, that's a pain no one can escape. That's a lesson he will carry with him long after you've forgotten his name. So don't beg, don't chase, don't explain, just walk. Walk like you were never meant to stop. Walk like you are the prize. Walk like the queen you are, and let him sit with the reality of what he lost. Because when a woman like you walks away, she doesn't just leave a void. Nothing can replace. Gain respect. Gain respect. And by the time he realizes it, you'll be too far gone to care. You gave your love, your time, your energy, and what did he do? He assumed you would always be there. He took your kindness and made it his comfort. He thought no matter how many times he ignored you, dismissed you, or made you feel small, you would always stay. But let me tell you something. The most dangerous mistake a man can make is believing a good woman will never leave. At first he felt powerful, knowing you loved him more than he loved you. He knew he could take his time, keep you waiting, and you would still show up. He knew he could cancel plans, ignore your messages, and you would still forgive him. He thought you would always fight for him, always prove yourself, always accept the bare minimum, just to keep the relationship alive. But what he never understood is that even the most loving woman has a breaking point. Even the most patient woman gets tired. Even the most loyal woman will walk away when she realizes her love is being wasted. You see, a man who takes you for granted isn't just being careless, he's making a choice. He is choosing not to value you. He is choosing not to prioritize you. He is choosing to risk losing you because he assumes you don't have the strength to leave. But let me ask you this. How much longer will you fight for someone who refuses to fight for you? How much longer will you pour love into someone who only gives you empty words and broken promises? How much longer will you sit in a relationship where you feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated? The moment you stop fighting for him, something shifts. He doesn't realize it at first. He thinks you're just giving him space. He assumes you're waiting. He believes you'll come back. But then, days turn into weeks, and suddenly he feels something he never expected, the weight of your absence. He starts to notice the silence. He starts to notice the missing good morning texts, the missing check-ins, the missing warmth that only you brought into his life. And that's when it hits him. He had a woman who gave him everything, and instead of cherishing her, he treated her like an option. He had a woman who was willing to stand by him, and instead of holding on to her, he made her feel like she wasn't enough. He had a woman who believed in him, fought for him, and loved him unconditionally, and now she's gone. You ever see a man lose something valuable and not realize its worth until it's out of reach? That's exactly what happens when you walk away. He will look at other women and realize none of them compare to you. He will try to find pieces of you in someone else, but it will never feel the same. He will remember the way you laughed at his jokes, the way you supported his dreams, the way you loved him with a heart so pure, and it will haunt him. But the beauty of walking away is that by the time he realizes what he lost, you'll be too busy finding yourself to care. You won't be waiting for him to come back. You won't be checking your phone for his name. You won't be crying yourself to sleep, hoping he finally sees your worth. No, you'll be glowing. You'll be growing. You'll be stepping into a life where you are no longer begging someone to love you the way you deserve, someone else's desire. And when he finally reaches out, when he finally understands the depth of his mistake, he'll expect the old you to come running back. But what he doesn't know is that the woman he once knew, the woman who fought so hard for him, no longer exists. The woman who stayed up at night wondering why she wasn't enough is gone. The woman who accepted excuses and half-hearted love is gone. The woman who once believed he was worth the fight has moved on. So don't waste another second fighting for a man who never fought for you. Don't waste another tear over someone who never valued your love. The best thing you can do is show him that you were never the one who needed to prove your worth. He was the one who needed to prove he deserved it. There is no lesson more painful than realizing you lost something that can never be replaced. Some men don't appreciate a good woman when she's in their life because they assume she will always be there. They assume no matter how many times they take her for granted, no matter how many times they ignore her needs, no matter how many times they make her feel unimportant, she will stay. But the moment she decides to walk away, the moment she decides to remove herself from his world, something shifts. At first, he won't notice. He'll think it's temporary. He'll believe she just needs time, and soon enough, she'll be right back where she always was, waiting for him, hoping for him, fighting for him. But then the hours turn into days, the days turn into weeks, and suddenly he starts to feel the emptiness she left behind. The messages that once lit up his phone are gone. The warmth that once surrounded him disappears. The comfort of knowing someone out there truly loved him fades into silence. He tries to ignore it at first. He distracts himself with work, with friends, with other women. He tells himself he doesn't care. He convinces himself that he's fine without her. But then something happens. He reaches for his phone, and there's no message. He looks around his world, and something feels off. He walks into a room, and there's no one there to greet him with the love she once gave so effortlessly. That's when reality begins to hit. The absence of a good woman is louder than her presence ever was. The silence she leaves behind is deafening. He starts to wonder where she is, what she's doing, who she's with. He checks his phone again, scrolling through old conversations, searching for the words he never truly appreciated when she was still there. He thinks about calling, but something stops him. Maybe it's guilt, maybe it's regret, maybe it's the realization that she no longer waits for him. Men don't always recognize what they have until they're forced to live without it. When she was there, she was predictable. She was constant. She was always one message away, always willing to listen, always ready to give him her love and support. But now she's a memory, and memories don't talk back. Memories don't check in to see how he's doing. Memories don't hold his hand when life gets hard, and that's when he starts to feel it. The pain, the loss, the weight of what he let slip through his fingers. It's not just about missing a person, it's about missing the feeling of being truly loved. It's about realizing that no one else understands him the way she did. It's about seeing that other women may come and go, but none of them will ever make him feel at home the way she once did. He may try to reach out, he may test the waters, sending a casual message just to see if she's still there. But the moment she doesn't respond the way she used to, the moment she no longer sounds eager to hear from him, the moment he realizes she's moved on, that's when the regret truly sinks in. Because now she's no longer a choice he can make. Now she's the one who got away. And the truth is, no man ever forgets the woman who truly loved him and then chose to leave. He may act like he's fine. He may pretend he doesn't care. But deep down, he knows he lost something rare. He knows he let go of someone who would have stood by his side through anything. And that regret, that's something he will carry long after she's stopped thinking about him. So let him experience life without you. Let him sit in the silence of your absence. Let him search for you in places you will never be again. Let him realize that the love you gave wasn't ordinary, and the woman he lost was one of a kind. Because by the time he understands what he had, you will be too far gone to care. There's a moment every man dreads, the moment he realizes the woman who once loved him with everything she had is no longer his. At first, he won't believe it. He'll convince himself it's just a phase, that she's just upset, that she'll come back like she always does. He assumes her love is endless, her patience unbreakable, her heart still his to hold. But what he doesn't understand is that love doesn't die in a single moment. It fades, piece by piece, until there's nothing left. And by the time he notices, it's already too late. He will go about his days like nothing has changed. He will laugh with his friends, fill his time with distractions, and tell himself he's free. He will enjoy the silence at first, thinking that her absence is a relief. No more expectations, no more late-night conversations, no more effort required. He believes he's won, that he holds the power. But what he doesn't realize is that the power was never his. It was always hers. Because a woman who loves deeply also has the ability to walk away completely. And when she does, she doesn't look back. Then something shifts. He reaches for his phone, but there's no message waiting. He scrolls through old conversations, seeing her words, her love, her warmth staring back at him, but now it's just a memory. He notices the little things first. No more good morning texts, No more late night calls. No more reminders that someone out there is thinking about him. The comfort he once took for granted is now a cold emptiness he can't shake. And then the loneliness starts creeping in. He'll go out, surround himself with people, maybe even other women, trying to convince himself that he's just fine. But deep down, he knows it's not the same. The laughter doesn't feel as real. The conversations don't feel as deep. The connection he once had with her was one of a kind, and no matter how hard he searches, he won't find it again. That's when the regret sets in. He starts replaying the moments he ignored her, the times he made her feel unimportant, the words he should have said but never did. He remembers the way she looked at him with love in her eyes, a love he never truly appreciated until it was gone. He realizes she was never asking for too much. She was only asking for the bare minimum, for effort, for recognition, for the love she so freely gave to be returned. And now he's left with nothing but echoes of the past. He starts wondering where she is, what she's doing, who she's with. He pictures her moving on, finding someone who sees her worth, someone who treats her the way he should have. The thought eats at him. He never imagined a life without her, and now he's living in it. And the worst part, he knows he did this to himself. He may try to reach out. He may send a message hoping to reignite what he let burn out. He may say he misses her, that he's sorry, that he finally sees what he had. But by then, the woman who once hung on his every word has changed. She no longer waits for his validation. She no longer craves his love. She no longer believes in his promises. Because when a woman finally decides she's had enough, there is no force on earth that can pull her back. She has rebuilt herself piece by piece in the absence of his love. She has learned that she was never too much. She was just too much for a man who wasn't ready to appreciate her. And now she walks with a confidence he barely recognizes, a strength he never saw before, a light that no longer shines for him. That is the moment when regret truly hits, when he realizes he was never the prize, she was. When he sees that while he was busy taking her for granted, she was finding her way to a life where he no longer existed. And by the time he understands what he lost, she will be too far gone to care. There comes a time in every woman's life when she realizes that she's given everything she can, and yet it still isn't enough. She's been patient, she's been understanding, she's loved with everything she had, but somehow it still wasn't appreciated. The love, the care, the constant support, it was never enough to make him see her worth. And when that moment hits, when she finally understands that she's been giving her all to someone who takes her for granted, she makes a decision. She chooses herself. At first it feels strange. Walking away from someone you loved so deeply isn't easy. There are memories, emotions, and the hope that things might change. But deep down, you know that nothing will ever change if you continue to stay in the same place, waiting for a love that wasn't meant for you. You begin to realize that it's time to let go. You choose to focus on yourself, to prioritize your happiness, your peace, your growth. And as you do, something incredible starts to happen. You begin to glow, you begin to grow, not because you're trying to impress anyone, not because you're looking for validation, but because you finally stepped into your own power. You finally recognize that you are worthy of a love that is pure, genuine, and reciprocal. You've realized that you are enough, and you've decided to invest in yourself instead of waiting around for someone else to recognize your worth. And with that, something shifts within you. You start to find peace in your own company. You start to enjoy your own accomplishments, big and small. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself, to justify your feelings, or to prove your worth to anyone. Your energy becomes more aligned with who you truly are, and the world around you starts to respond to that. You start to attract new opportunities, new people, and new experiences that align with your growth. No longer holding on to the past, you open yourself up to the future, one filled with endless possibilities. And as you grow, you become more confident, more radiant, more authentic than you've ever been. Your glow isn't just external, it radiates from within. You've learned that true strength lies in walking away from what no longer serves you and stepping into a life that honors who you are. As you glow and grow, you'll realize something profound. While you were focused on someone else, you were neglecting yourself. You were giving your time, your love, your energy, but the truth is, you never needed anyone else to complete you. You were always whole. And now, you stand stronger than ever, knowing that no one else has the power to define your worth. There will be times when you look back, and it's tempting to wonder what could have been. But you know better now. You understand that the right person, the right love, will never make you feel like you have to fight for your place. The right love will never make you question your worth. The right love will be built on respect, on understanding, on mutual growth. And when you're ready for it, it will come. But until then, you have everything you need within yourself. You have the strength to walk away. You have the strength to heal. You have the strength to build a life that's better than you ever imagined. You have the strength to rise, to thrive, to love yourself fiercely. And as you do, you'll realize that you're not just glowing and growing for anyone else. You're doing it for you. You're doing it because you finally understand that your happiness is your responsibility, that your peace is non-negotiable, and that you are enough, just as you are. So, glow and grow without looking back. Let the past fade into the distance, and let yourself be the best version of you. You've waited long enough. Now, it's time to shine. When someone hurts you, when they betray your trust, your first instinct might be to make them feel the same pain you've felt. You may think about getting even, about making them regret their actions, about teaching them a lesson they'll never forget. It's easy to let anger take over, to let the desire for revenge cloud your judgment. But what you don't realize is that seeking revenge only chains you to the past, trapping you in a cycle of negativity and bitterness. The only true power you have in this situation is the ability to choose a different path, the path of self-respect. Revenge might feel good in the moment, but it leaves you empty. It takes away your peace and fills you with more anger and resentment. In the process, you lose sight of who you are and what you truly deserve. Seeking revenge means you are letting the person who wronged you have power over your emotions, your peace, your happiness. They control your thoughts, your actions, your energy. Is that really the kind of power you want to give away? When you choose self-respect over revenge, you are choosing to take back control of your life. You are choosing to walk away from the toxicity, to protect your energy, and to preserve your peace. You are saying, I will not let anyone's actions define who I am. I am stronger than my anger, and I am worthy of a love that honors me. It's in this moment, in this decision, that you take the first step towards healing. The journey towards self-respect is not always easy. It means letting go of the need for validation from others. It means no longer waiting for an apology that may never come. It means standing firm in your worth, even when the world around you tries to make you doubt it. It's about finding peace within yourself, regardless of the chaos others may try to bring into your life. It's about choosing to rise above the hurt, the anger, and the bitterness, and instead, choosing to focus on your own growth and well-being. When you seek self-respect, you stop giving your energy to things that don't serve you. You stop chasing after the people who only bring negativity into your life. You start to realize that the best revenge isn't to hurt someone back, it's to show them that you can thrive without them. The best revenge is walking away with your head held high, knowing that you are better than the situation that tried to break you. As you choose to respect yourself, you begin to see the truth. You don't need to seek revenge. because the universe has a way of taking care of things. When people wrong you, they often end up facing the consequences of their actions on their own. You don't need to be the one to deliver it. Life has a way of teaching people the lessons they need to learn, often in ways they never expected. So why waste your time, your energy, your peace on something that won't bring you the closure you seek? You start to realize that your worth is not determined by how others treat you. It's not determined by their actions, their words, or their choices. Your worth is determined by how you choose to see yourself. It's determined by your ability to rise above the hurt, to learn from the pain, and to move forward with strength and dignity. You are more than the mistakes of others. You are more than the hurt they cause. And when you start to see that, you begin to understand that revenge is never worth it. Seeking self-respect means you honor yourself. You set boundaries that protect your peace. You let go of the people who try to bring you down and surround yourself with those who uplift and encourage you. You focus on your goals, your dreams, your growth, and your happiness. You understand that your happiness is not dependent on others. It comes from within. So, don't waste your time seeking revenge. Instead, seek the strength to let go of the past and the courage to move forward. Seek the peace that comes with knowing that you are enough, just as you are. Seek the self-respect that comes with recognizing your own worth, no matter what anyone else thinks or does. Because at the end of the day, the person who will always be there for you is you. And the most powerful thing you can do is choose to respect yourself, no matter what anyone else does.